Today we are reading Chapter 11 from Frankie, Nancy, and Rose on the Mountain, The Overalls. Today, Nancy had once again been declared Mumblepeg champion. This was the third day in a row. She couldn't help feeling prideful of it and was fairly dancing through the house after the long afternoon of plowing and Mumblepeg games. Besides winning at Mumblepeg, she had found a beautiful rock while she was walking home from the onion patch, making her day even better, and she was on her way to the bedroom to put it in her paper sack, which she used in lieu of a suitcase on her visits to her grandparents. It looked like a small, ordinary gray rock at first, but had glittering sparkles, which sparkled even in the dark of the house, she noted. When Nancy passed through the bathroom, she stopped for a moment, as she always did, to admire the overalls. In the house, Mama and Papa Apple had a small room everyone called the bathroom. They didn't have indoor plumbing, and in fact, few people Nancy knew of did. Maybe Mama Apple had heard of it and meant to have a real bathroom later on. In this bathroom, though, instead of a bathtub or a commode, there were shelves and shelves full of overalls, neatly stacked. Nancy loved seeing those rows of overalls with all the buckles stuck inside, some dark denim, some faded, and some striped. Girls wore only dresses, but oh, how Nancy longed to try on a pair of those overalls. She never did, though. She just looked at them longingly, then ran on out to play with Rose and the others. Today, though, Nancy, in her triumphant mood, was feeling more than a bit adventurous. She laid the small rock on top of an overall stack and pulled a beautiful pair of softly faded dusk blue overalls from the next stack over. When she held up the dungarees in front of her, she could easily see that they were her very size. Nancy took her rock and the pair of overalls and brazenly walked on to the bedroom to put away the stone. Suppressing a giggle, she imagined Frankie's upcoming reaction to her sister in overalls. But just as she pulled out the paper sack to pack the rock safely away, she heard Aunt Irene calling for her. "Nancy, didn't you want to come help with the pies?" And Nancy remembered that she had asked her aunt to show her how she made the fried pies the next time she made them. Nancy became suddenly shy about the overalls and quickly crammed them into the open sack along with the sparkly rock. Then she ran to the kitchen and learned how to make fried pies. Somehow the overalls in her sack under the bed kept floating to the top of her mind, though. By the time the fried pies, beautifully folded over, flaky and shiny with buttery crust, were finished, and supper, leftover fried chicken, biscuits, and garden vegetables, was on the table, Nancy was beginning to think her idea of taking the overalls to try on was not a good one after all. In fact, she could see now that it might have been a bad idea. But her main thought was not on the worthiness of the idea. It was how to get the overalls out of the paper sack and back into the bathroom. She wondered if this was how thieves feel when they sneak things, and she had a horrible thought. "Jiminy Cricket, I am a thief." Despite her love of fried chicken, Nancy could not manage more than a few bites of supper. Mama Apple noticed and wondered out loud if Nancy was getting something. There was a stomach bug going around, they had said at church. Nancy forced down some bites of fried potatoes and made herself smile. "I'm just saving room for the fried pies," she lied, adding to her sin of thievery. The family went to the front porch after the meal to enjoy their pies and shell peas in the early evening light. Nancy had no interest in pies or shelling peas either, but was resigned to pretending happiness about everything, which was becoming exhausting. But as she started to accept the pie that she didn't want, an idea popped into her head. "Mama Apple, would you braid my hair?" Nancy thought she might have interrupted a conversation by the scowl on Frankie's face and Aunt Irene's open mouth, but she determinedly held her ground, even pulling her hair back from her face for effect. Mama Apple kept shelling peas, but nodded. This was going to work. Nancy just knew it. She trotted into the house, calling back, "I'll go get my comb then." As you might have guessed, she went straight to the bedroom, retrieved the plundered overalls, and returned them to the bathroom, folded as neatly as she had found them. Then she raced toward the front door before realizing she had forgotten her comb, so she ran back to the bedroom once more, then forced herself to walk slowly out the door to the front porch where Mama Apple was waiting to braid her hair. "One braid or two?" "Oh, two, I think," Nancy answered happily. "And, Rose, would you hand me a fried pie, please?"